everyone. You're listening to the Elisa Fucci Show. I'm your host, Elisa Fucci. I'm a motivational speaker, podcaster, an international best-selling book author, relationship life coach, and certified breathwork detox facilitator. They say real love takes work. Let me and experts from all over the world help you make being in a relationship fun and easy. Hello. Welcome to today's podcast episode. I'm your host, Elisa Fucci. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a relationship life coach, breathwork facilitator, and I'm here to help you with your relationship problems because I believe that no matter how successful you are at your business, your job, in every aspect of your life, if you have a fight with your kids, if you have a fight with your spouse, if you have a disagreement with a coworker, it stains everything else. It consumes your mind for the rest of the day. It sets the tone for the rest of the day, week, maybe months, right? If you are struggling in any type of relationships, that can take over every aspect of your life. You maybe stop going to the gym. Maybe you slack at work because you're so consumed because you're thinking about this problem that you have with your spouse or with your son or daughter or with your mom or with your siblings. It takes over all your energy and mental space. And that makes it harder to do all the other things that you have to do. So I believe that relationships are so important and they're at the core of everything we do. As we're human beings, we want to be with other people. So that's what I'm here for, to help you so you can succeed at everything else when you start focusing on your relationship problems. So with that, I wanted to read really quick a message that I got from one of my listeners. And she said, your posts and your podcast and my therapy and breath work have been tremendous amount of help. Of course, it is up to me to do the work. The universe is working for me and put so many great people around me. Thank you. Thank you so much, G, for that. I appreciate that so much. You have no idea, you guys, how much I appreciate when I get these messages from people saying how impactful my podcast and posts on Instagram have been. They really are part of my why I keep doing this, why I keep coming back. So I wanted to do a little series. I wanted to do a few podcasts on answering questions for you guys. So if you have a relationship problem that you need help with, let's say right now you are trying to talk to your husband about money and that's something that you struggle with. How do I bring up that? Or maybe you see that your husband is spending money in things that you don't approve of, that you want him to spend on something else, but you are afraid of saying things. How do I talk to my spouse about our spending? How do I communicate and set up boundaries? Or how do I speak up and say what I want? Whatever that is. Or maybe you're struggling with your kids. Maybe they are not listening and they have your which is kind of what we're going to talk about today. But I've gotten that before. People have reached out to me and have asked, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I feel like I have no control over my kids and they're doing whatever they want. And I'm like, actually, you have all the control. So anything you need help with relationships, send them my way. I'm going to put a link in the description below, or you can send me an email at Elisa, ELISA, Fucci, FUCCI, .coaching@gmail.com. You can submit your problems there. Just say, dear Elisa, this is what I'm struggling with. Can you please help me? I will keep it anonymous, so you don't have to worry about it. So I just want to do this to help you guys. And guess what? When you share, when you reach out to ask for help, you're telling yourself, I got you. You're creating a support system for yourself. And you are also reaching out for help. You're getting answers. And you never know who else is struggling with the same thing you are. So by you reaching out, you might be helping someone else that is not as strong or as outspoken and doesn't know how to speak up and support themselves. So when you do that, when you speak up and you ask for help and you send in your request to get help from me, you might be helping someone else and get their answers to their problems. So don't be afraid and send your problems my way, and I'll be sure to answer them as they come. So today's question is from a listener, and she wants to know when to step in and make choices for your children and when to let them make a choice and fail on their own. Oh my gosh, this is so hard because I've been there. I know how it is right now. I have a 20. I have a 20-year-old and a 13-year-old. So my 20-year-old, right now, I'm at the stage where I just get to watch him, observe him, cheer him on, and let him make the decisions. I no longer make decisions for him because he's an adult. And even though he lives at home, he gets to make his own decisions. I don't. I set boundaries around the home, but he makes the decisions. And something that I learned years ago was how to empower our children to make decisions for themselves. Even at a young age, I think it's so important for kids to make their own decisions. And I'll talk about it a little bit more now later on, because I think it's so important to create a decision-rich environment for our kids. Because I mean, we don't want to force our kids to do things, and we don't want to be the boss of the dictator of the home, right? We want there to be a republic, right, where everybody gets to a say. Everybody gets to say what they want and have their opinion matter. But ultimately, you get to make the decision. You're the president. You and your spouse are the president and vice president of the home, right? Or vice versa. But they get to speak up and say what they want in the home. I believe in that. That's the kind of home I have, and I'm raising my kids in. They get a say even on the consequences. I have made it like that. I ask my kids, like, okay, you broke the rule. What do you think is a fair consequence for breaking this rule? I make sure that I involve my kids in all the aspects of parenting, because I believe they are wiser than us, and they are here to teach us as well as help them remember who they are. So going back to this listener's question, I want to go back to the foundation. First, I'd like to know, where are you as a parent right now? Where are you at? And I'm going to ask you a few questions to start kind of to see where you are in your parenting, okay? And so grab a piece of paper, open up your notes, and start thinking what comes up and write it down. Because these are questions that will get you to start thinking where you are in your parenting and where your mindset is. So then we can go from there. Okay. So first, where are you at right now? Maybe rate yourself from 1 to 10. How do you think you show up as a parent from 1 to 10? And then what kind of parent do you want to be when your child makes decisions that you don't agree with? Oh, this is a hard one. Let's say you want your kids to go to church and they say, nope, I don't want to. What kind of parent do you want to be when your kids say no, when they choose something different than what you want them to choose? Or maybe if they're younger, even if it's an outfit, right? You want them to wear something and they choose some other outfit that's like, oh, right? It goes against everything that you know about fashion, but they want to wear it. Like, what kind of parent do you want to be? Do you want to be a compassionate? Do you want to be loving? Do you want to be patient? What are the characteristics that you want for to be and to show up as when this happens? Or when the consequences of their choices come up. Let's say they don't do their homework and they get an F, and then they have to fail. They have to either take summer school or retake the class. Like, what kind of parent do you want to be? What do you want to do when things go that bad, right? I've shared this before where my son had taken classes and community college classes years ago. And the first time they were free, he failed them because of COVID and everything else. The second time, he's like, yeah, I still want to do it again. He tried it, but I made him pay it. And even then, he still did not put the effort to pass the classes. So the third time I was like, what do you want to do? It's going to be more expensive the third time around. So what do you want to do? What kind of parent do you want to be when things go south, when things go sour after they have made those choices and there's consequences, there's the natural consequences that come up? Do you want to be, again, going back to the drama triangle, do you want to be the rescuer, the one that goes and pays for the fees and talks to all the teachers and forces all the teachers to give them a second chance and to let them do extra credit? It goes and talks to the principal and makes a big deal. Do you want to be the one that rescues them? Do you want to be the one that is always giving them money, even though you know they can figure out a way, they're smart enough and they can figure out a way to get a job, to pay for things themselves? What kind of parent do you want to be? The one that enables them to continue being the victims, to continue feeling disempowered, to continue making those same decisions? Or do you want to be maybe the persecutor, where you're like, I told you so. I told you, where you're always right and they're wrong, where you shame them on their decisions, even though you told them, yep, that was wrong, where you pile on the shame from previous experiences and you make them feel less than because of their choices? Do you want to be the persecutor, where you're always right and they're wrong? I mean, I grew up with this kind of mentality in my home. My parents were always right. No matter what, they were always right. Even if the world was falling apart and they're saying, no, it's not falling apart. I learned to believe them blindly. Are you that kind of parent? Are you the parent that you want your children to follow you blindly and obey you no matter what? And you, in your choice, or your opinion and your husband's opinion is the only one that matters? Or are you the victim? Do you want to play the victim role when your children make choices that are not aligned with you, when they fail, when they get hurt, when they come back crying, or maybe they don't even do that. Maybe they shut down and they're in pain and they go to drugs, or they start getting in trouble. Do you want to be the victim and just feel sorry for yourself and be like, oh, what have I done to deserve this? I've done everything. I've given this child everything and all, and this is how they repay me. I've heard that before. Again, I grew up in a household where the roles